Hey everybody, hope you guys are having a great Monday. Hope you guys had a great weekend as well. My name is Isaiah Babcock. I'm the college and singles minister here at Cross City Church. This is episode 2 of our weekly podcast. For those that tuned in last week, thank y'all so much just for all of the support, all of the encouragement. We really do hope that this is something that y'all look forward to each and every single week. So if you guys have suggestions, again, things you want to talk about, put those down in the comments. I'm excited today because we get to have my friend Bryan Cox here. He is the Next Step minister here at Cross City Church, and so that means that, Bryan, correct me if I'm wrong, you're over things like our church membership. You have a big say in our discipleship process here, just kind of the overall strategy of our church. But thanks for being here.
Yeah, man, absolutely happy to be here.
So tell me a little bit, kind of just expand on that, like, what your role is here at the church, what you do, some of the things that you have a hand in here.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a hand in quite a few things.
Yeah.
So basically, if you show up and from parking lot to the worship center, anybody that's greeting you, talking to you, trying to get you connected, like my spiel, my bit whenever I'm in front of people is I'm the Next Step pastor, and my goal is to help you take your next step. And so people that as a guest, they drive into the parking lot and somebody greets them at the door, and their next step is just to get in the door. I mean, it's really, it seems simplistic, but that's real. Like, that's hard for people, and we've had people who sit in the parking lot and are freaking out and they don't want to go in, and our parking people are there for them. Mm-hmm. Our greeters taking the next step to them, taking the next step to Guest Central. I help oversee that area. We have incredible volunteers there. Guest reception, our pastor's reception afterwards, our Next Step class, which this Sunday, January 13th. If you haven't signed up for that, crosscity.church/nextstep. Go there and sign up and get in that. It's our membership class, and so I help run that. And then other things, just simple things that people don't even realize probably is happening behind the scenes: security, medical, our prayer teams, stuff like that.
Yeah. So talk about that for a second, because you talk about the Next Step class, which, by the way, again, next Sunday, January 13th. crosscity.church/nextstep to register. That's where you can hear about our church, hear about what we believe, kind of the overall makeup of the church, the organization, the strategy, everything like that. And you do have a chance, if at that time, to become a member, ask about things like baptism. So if you haven't already, crosscity.church/nextstep. But my question is this, man. Like, I have questions with, I used to think this, saved a little over 5 years ago. And among some of the people I interact with, it's this conversation about like church membership. Is it biblical? Is it important? And it's like, what would you say to that? Like, why is church membership an important thing?
Yeah, I would say it's absolutely important. When we do the Next Step class, we walk through all of those things, like you said. We walk through our beliefs, we walk through how you get connected, how do you serve, what's the discipleship strategy, what's our mission, what's our vision, all of that. But the reason that we walk through all of that is to get to this idea of what does it look like to be a redemptive member. And I use that phrase a lot because God has called us really clearly in the book of Acts. I mean, we see God has called us into a community to get a job done. I mean, Acts 1:8 is all about, I'm going to give you power to be in Judea, Samaria, to the ends of the earth. We're going to take the gospel there. The reality is God didn't see us doing that outside of community, outside of a church.
That's good.
And so why do I want you to become a member? It's not so I can check a box or put a notch on my belt or anything like that. It's because I want to see you be a part of what we're about, which is we lead all people, not to do all the lines, right? But we lead all people to follow Jesus, real people finding real hope, experiencing real life in Jesus Christ. I mean, all of the things that y'all have heard a lot of times, that doesn't happen outside of the relationship and community of believers. And the reality is growth and joy doesn't happen outside of that as well. So
what do you mean by that?
Yeah, just the reality is that anybody who tells you I can sit at home and not be in community and not have a group around me to support me and stuff like that, and I can still grow fully in Christ, and that kind of redemptive growth where I'm going to see the ebbs and flows of my life, they're not living in a reality. They're not living in the real world. Don't at me, but like you just
no. But you're totally right.
You need to be in community, whatever that looks like. I talk a lot, so
no. One of my mentors told me, he was like, because a line that I had heard plenty of times growing up was like, well, you don't have to go to church, you don't have to be part of a church to believe in God. And he's like, that's true, but if you want to grow and be effective as a Christian, you need the church, and you need to be a part of a church,
and the church needs you.
Exactly.
It's not just that we need you to need us or anything like that. So we can boost numbers or anything like that. It's the reality is like as the church and as ministers of the gospel, we want to see you live a fully redemptive and joyous, God-glorifying life. And to do that, we believe you need to do it inside of the church. Right. The church, big C, little c, the church. And so, that's really why I do what I do. It's not, I need to like justify my job, so I started a class.
Yeah, exactly.
It's that I want to see people get I'd love to do it over 8 weeks, really, but I have 2.5 hours to sit down with you. It's usually 2, don't worry. But usually 2 to 2.5 hours to sit down with you and go, this is the scope of what our community of believers looks like, and how you can grow and take your next step within this community of believers.
That's cool. Well, hey, again, one last time, next Sunday, January 13th, if you haven't already RSVP'd, crosscity.church/nextstep. One of the things that I always talk about with my college students as they go off is like, and it's important to know why you believe what you believe. It's important to know what the church you want to start attending believes. And so for those of you that are out there just looking at Cross City as maybe a church and you want to know what we believe, and you need to come to this class. And so that's the last thing I'll say about that. Good stuff. What we have up, so this has been a big year for you and Natalie, your wife. Y'all added a new person to your family.
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
Yeah, we in July, we adopted our daughter, Eliza. And so we have 2 biological children, Easton and Everett. Easton's 6 and Everett is 3, turning 4 in about a week and a half. So he did terrible 2s, terrible 3. We're shooting for terrible 4s and see what happens. But and then so Eliza, we went and got her. So in was it March or whenever? Yeah, March. But we were at opening day for the Rangers game, and we were actually kind of on a slow track trying to get this adoption done. It was taking forever. And we were at the opening day of the Rangers game, and we get an email with her picture on it, and basically like, would y'all be interested, this little girl, we're about to lose her off of our list. Like, it's really complicated. Basically, we're about to lose her off of our list. We're like, absolutely, let's do it. And so we kind of got fast tracked, and in July we got to travel. Spent 15 days in China and picked up our baby girl.
The coolest thing is whenever, for those of y'all who maybe follow Bryan on Facebook, the day they got back, you had made this post, and it said, all of my heart in 7 photos.
Yeah.
And you can't see them. You may or may not be able to see them great in here, but like, it's you and Natalie coming out of the terminal, the boys running at you. You can see Everett start to pick it up there towards the end. Man, that was I would say one of the most touching things that I had seen. You and I are friends, and we joke around a lot. And so, man, just to let you know how much I admire that and have been enjoying watching your family grow. But what's that? 2 things. I want you to answer 2 questions. One, man, like, why was it important that you and Natalie, we got a picture of you and just kind of the whole family here.
Yeah.
But why was it important for you and Natalie to adopt Eliza? And then 2, like, how have things been for her coming over from another country? She's 6 years old?
6 years old.
So like, what's that been like for her getting into the swing of things? How are her and the boys interacting?
Yeah.
But
I mean, I feel like all these pictures, especially the last one, you're like trying to make me cry. Like, I cry when it comes to my kid. I don't cry.
Let me go ahead and just show them here. So we got a couple pictures of the kiddos there. Your boy's got some crazy smiles, man. And then I think the cutest picture.
There we go.
Probably right there. But man, just talk about that. Like, why was it important that you guys didn't just have a 3rd kid? Like, why was adoption the way to go?
Yeah, I mean, so we've had adoption on our hearts since before we got married. And so, I mean, when we were talking about getting married, when we got engaged, it was, we're going to have one biological child, and then we're going to go adopt a child. Well, God had different plans, but so Everett was our surprise. And so we had Everett, and then it was still kind of like, I don't know now, like, do we have the money? Do we have the time? Do we have the resources? We're stressed out. I had just actually just gotten to First Euless about 8 months beforehand, so I hadn't been here very long. Cross City, my bad. But I just gotten here a few months before, so like started a whole new job. Moved, sold our house, bought a new house. We'd only been in the last house for 11 months. I mean,
and Natalie had changed jobs too, right?
Natalie changed jobs. Like, our entire life was pretty stressful up to that point. And so we're kind of like, you know what? We're gonna have to press pause on this and maybe just wait.
Yeah.
And I was about to say long story short, but it's just a long story.
It's a good one,
I went to I went on a trip with my dad to West Virginia. And in West Virginia, there wasn't a lot to do. And so I had a lot of time to think, reflect, and pray. And that's what I tried to use it as kind of a retreat. And I just felt really God sensing. I was just really clear, like, now we're going to adopt now.
Yeah.
All right, that's what's up, God. So
now you start the whole process.
Yeah, but I'm on the plane ride home, like, building the case, because my wife's a planner, Natalie's a planner, and I'm, like, building the case.
You're going to go sell this to her.
Yeah, I'm going to have to walk through the door. I'm going to have like a PowerPoint presentation and a spreadsheet with the budget on it. And I walk through the door, set down my bag. As soon as I walked in, Natalie looks at me and says, I think God's telling us it's time to adopt now.
That's awesome.
And
man,
so,
cool.
Man, all right, we're off to the races. And so it was about a 1.5 year long process. It's really tough, but she's doing incredibly. I mean, she
looks like she's getting along great with the boys.
Yeah.
Again, just a couple of the pictures here. Then where were we all here?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
But yeah,
showing that one.
This is probably my favorite.
That's at the Arboretum. Yeah. Yeah, she's getting along great. I mean, they're kids, so they fight. But
has she started school?
Yeah, she's in kindergarten.
Cool.
And her and Easton are at the same school. And so they see each other and everything. They're together in, like, the after school program and all that. Yeah. Her English is just crazy fast. I mean, you have to do home visits, like follow-up visits from, like, caseworkers and stuff afterwards, just to check on how they're doing. And she's been floored at how well Eliza's doing, how good her English is, like, how fast she's developed. Like, she is she just wants to be this little American child, man. She's fully in, man.
There was one picture, I didn't pull it, but it's of her in your back seat, and she's all, like, diva out. It was
diva, sunglasses, little attitude.
It was cool, man. So I'm happy for you guys, proud of you guys. We'll play a little game here in the end, kind of going back to that idea of your family. But Ben was here last week, and we talked about, it was New Year's Eve, so we talked about the goals that he had hit and that I had.
He had like 47 goals or something, man, right? It was out of control.
I don't want to talk about it. Like, we weren't supposed to go down that road and, like, out how bad I am with my New Year's resolutions. But you are definitely a goals guy.
Yeah.
Okay, so like, have you already done your goals for
absolutely. Started on.
How many do you have?
I have I think 5.
Okay, so
5 goals.
Okay, talk to me about goals, because, like, man, I guarantee you there are some people out there that are like me, that they're going to think about it. They're going to have this good list. They're going to have good intentions behind it. Like, my wife has already read a book and a half, and it's day 4 of the year. I'm still trying to figure out what books I want to read, if I even want to read books. Like, and tell me about just, like, your heart behind goals, why it's important, why people should do them, why they maybe shouldn't do them.
Yeah, and I'll say that's important. You said should do them, shouldn't do them. I think everybody should have some kind of framework from which they're operating out of throughout the year, but not everybody's personality is like mine. Like, if you know anything about Enneagram, I'm a 3, and I'm a goal setter. Like, I'm the achiever. I want to set goals and I want to crush them. And then if I haven't crushed them by, like, December, I'll figure out a way to make it sound like I crushed them. Like, that's kind of
the goals are amended now.
Yes, yeah, they're amended, or like well, if I read 20 kids books in the next 10 days, like, does that count? Kind of thing.
Yes,
but I do think it's important. So one thing that a lot of people do, and if you're not a goal setter, I think this would be good, is pick a word. Have you heard, you probably heard about this, like, pick my word for the year, and then see if you can operate within that. And so I do that too. So I don't know if you count that as a 6th goal or not, but I pick a word. And in looking at the Enneagram, realizing how I'm never present in a moment. Like, I am always thinking about something else. I'm very fidgety, as you probably can see. Picked up my phone 3 times to pretend like I'm going to look at it, and I don't do anything with it.
It's okay. I've picked up my coffee cup like 6 times.
Is there anything left in it?
There is, but 2 of the times I picked it up, I didn't drink anything.
Yeah. So all of those things is, like, to be present, and I don't have just tons of, like, sub goals into that. It's just that idea of keep that word in front of me. I'm going to be present, be mindful of what's happening.
What's your 2019 word?
That's what it was.
It's present.
That's 2019. Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. Yeah, man. It's present. My 2018 word was not existent, because 2018 was just like, just blew up, man. I didn't reach any of my goals in 2018 because the adoption, in a good way, messed everything up. I read a lot of books because I was in China for 15 days, but other than that, it was a tough year. And again, that's actually okay too. But I do set goals. I usually actually set them in December.
Okay.
And the reason why is my birthday is December 15th. So I don't do necessarily goals for 2019. I do goals for the age of 32.
I see.
So I'm December to December on my goals. So I started setting them early December, thinking through what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be better at. There's physical aspects, need to drop a few lbs, like for sure. But also, like, I do CrossFit, and I'm gonna get flack for that, for bringing it up. But
give me 2 reasons why people should at least humor or even try CrossFit.
Okay, I'll give you 2 reasons. One is functional fitness, that you're doing constantly varied movements over different. I'm not gonna go down the
functional.
Okay, but functional movements is that it can be scaled for anyone.
Okay,
and so everybody looks at like the CrossFit Games or the documentaries or something, or see what's on TV, or see like Swole Guy on Instagram who's
jumping
posting.
up a 6-foot.
Yeah, no, that's not it. Like, you're gonna go in, they're gonna have what they call Metcons, which is the little workouts and stuff, and they can scale it way down. And so we have people in our gym who are 16. We have people in our gym who are in their 70s.
Oh, wow.
And have limited mobility and everything.
That's cool.
And they scale it for them, and it creates incredible fitness. And the second reason is actually a community. And so actually, whenever I normally talk about church membership, I kind of bring up CrossFit a little bit, because everybody seeks community, and some people find it in CrossFit.
Yeah.
And I find it really interesting to be a part of that community. And the other problem is that a lot of believers don't have a lot of unbelievers as friends, and you need to go figure that out and be intentional in it. And so go be intentional in a space like CrossFit, where you can build a really cool, supportive fitness community around you, who also become your friends. I have really close friends there, and so have loved and enjoyed being a part of it. So community, functional movement. So I always set up like CrossFit goals that I want to hit, because there's things that whenever I started doing it, like I never would, like, I'm a big dude and I was a big kid, and I would have never thought that I could do a handstand, for instance.
And when I had that video.
And when I got there, they said, "Yo, we're gonna get you there," and I was like, "That's not gonna happen. That's just not a thing. My body doesn't do that." And I've done that, and I can do handstand push-ups now. And so I want to, like, there's different goals that I want to hit, but I set those up, and so I set up plans for those things, and I just tell myself, what are some things I'm gonna do every day? I'm gonna move every day. I'm gonna try and eat clean. Eating templates, those kinds of things. And so whenever you set goals, you don't want to set goals and then say, cool, I'm going to do that thing, and you don't have a plan. You're not setting anything that's, the SMART goals, measurable, attainable, all of that. You're just setting up maybe I can pull that off. And I think a lot of people who say, kind of the bit on social media is like, day 10 or day 3 I've already messed up, or whatever. It's like, did you have a plan?
Exactly.
Or did you just kind of throw that on a piece of paper and it felt good, or had it in your head and it felt good, or threw it on social media and people said kudos, and you didn't actually come up with anything? Just come up with a plan. So I read 50 books. That's something I want to do. So what that looks like for me is...
I'm not going to tell you how many books I tried to read.
What that looks like for me is about 40 pages a day or so.
Okay.
There's somebody out there who's going to do the math and comment, so I'm looking forward to that.
Sorry, there's already going to be somebody that comments and is like, Isaiah, didn't you put a post last year about the 12 books you were going to read? Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
Well, so I've 50 books, but I've kind of made a commitment myself this year that I'm not going to beat myself up over the books that I read. And so in the past, it's like I need to read every leadership book that everybody gives me or tells me I should read. Whoever our mentors are or our leadership is, says, you got to read this leadership book. Okay, I'm going to go get it right now. Like I'm not gonna freak out about that. What else? Every leadership book or every new Christian book that comes out that everybody's reading, like I don't need to do that. And so I started writing a list, and I was like, I'm gonna read a book that I feel like I should read, and then I'm gonna read a book that I'm gonna enjoy. Like that. Not that I'm saying that some of those should reads aren't enjoyable sometimes, but
you're reading them for a purpose.
Like, for instance, I just read a book called Hatchet. That's a book that's actually a teen novel about a kid who survives in the wilderness.
Was it good?
It was great. It was incredible. And I read it in like 2 sittings because it was so such an interesting read. And, it's big old print, like good old fashioned, like I might read like
pictures or anything.
I might go back to like Boxcar Children or something. Like I'm enjoying these kids books, man.
That's good.
And then I'm reading Road Back to You, which I'm actually borrowed from you, right?
Yeah.
So the Enneagram book, and that's been really interesting.
Which, by the way, y'all probably heard this is 2 episodes now where we've dropped Enneagram and talked about numbers.
Yeah.
We are doing an episode here in the near future about what that is, what we're even talking about, and how it can really be a tool for you.
It sounds weirder than it is.
Yeah, definitely. So cool. It'll be cool. Ryan Slay's going to be helping with that.
So yeah, I set those goals, and then I try to set out a plan and really know what the plan's going to be. I mean, even with the waking up early. So I'm going to wake up early. Well, how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to start by waking up at 5:30 a.m. Then I'm going to move back to 5 a.m. after I've gotten consistent on that. I'm going to make sure I get the coffee pot scheduled the night before so that when I wake up, there's coffee ready for me. I'm going to put the phone on the other side of the room, and I write it all down.
Yeah.
I get out on Evernote, and I write it.
Is that would you say that's probably one of the better things that you've used as a tool?
Yeah, I love Evernote, and it's accessible everywhere. And so another thing that I've been doing is in the morning is rereading all those goals every single morning that I get up, and I'm sitting there, I do my quiet time, have a time of journaling, and then I review my goals, and then I pray, and part of that is so I can pray over those and know what I'm going to hit. And then recently, I was listening to a podcast by a guy who's actually a fitness coach, but he was talking about goals, and he said with every single goal, you need to go through and start writing down kind of a positive affirmation, not to be too cheesy, but to say, like, for instance, with the waking up early, I'm the type of person, he said, write down, I'm the type of person, ... I'm the type of person that when their alarm clock goes off, I jump up in the mornings. I'm the type of person who's going to wake up early because then I can accomplish my goals. I'm the type of person and walk through those things. And when it comes to spiritual life, I thought that was actually a good practice. That I want to be, or I am the type of person that I have to be in the Word, or my day's going to suffer.
Right, that's true.
So I thought that was a good practice, and so I have like 10 to 15. I am the type of person listed out for every one of those goals. Right. So this takes time, but man, for me, it's worth it. Yeah. It's worth it if I'm going to reach the goals and the potential that I think I should.
Have you ever heard, I want to play a Who Said It game? And you've probably been kind of looking over here and seeing some of this stuff. But we talked to...
I can't get a good angle. So.
No, it's fine. I got with Natalie, actually, earlier this week, and I had her ask the kids some questions.
Collusion.
Yep, definitely. Hey. And so here's what we're going to do. We're going to play a game of Who Said It. These are your kids' answers.
Okay.
And so I'm going to tell you what question we asked them, give you the answer, and you're supposed to guess who was the one that said that.
Okay.
Does that make sense? We good?
I think.
All right, cool. Okay, so we asked your kids, what is something Daddy always says to you? Oh, gosh. And the answer we picked the best answer out of these, or the funniest. Which one of your kids said, woo, woo, woo?
Everett.
You sure?
I know. Everett usually says, to answer that question, because I was worried, Everett will usually say, I'm going to give you a spanking, is what Daddy always says to him. So,
well, here we actually have a video.
Woo, woo, woo.
Supposedly it's the phrase you say every time you beat him in a game or something.
Oh, it's Easton.
Here you go.
No, okay, so actually, so what that is me going wah wah wah.
Okay, the funny thing was that's actually what Natalie typed wah wah wah, and then sent this video. It was funny. Anyway, so yeah, that was Easton. We asked your kids.
Man, his hair is looking rough there. All right.
What makes Daddy happy? Which one of your kids said when we play together?
Eliza?
It was actually Easton.
It was Easton.
It was Easton. Right. It was Easton. In your defense, that was kind of the general answer for the kids, but one said that when specifically.
I thought somebody's going to be like, when it's quiet.
We asked your kids, what makes Daddy sad?
Okay.
And when the kids said, being in trouble.
I'm going to go with Eliza.
No, that was Everett, actually.
Oh, okay.
Everett.
They're in trouble the most.
Well, so the question I have, actually, is that you being in trouble or them being in trouble? It
probably is either. Actually, I don't get that sad when I'm in trouble with Natalie,
Okay, which one of your kids, we asked them, what is daddy's favorite food? Which one of them said salad and the little circle things he eats at Mi Cocina?
Oh, man. Easton?
Yep,
Okay.
that was Easton. Easton, ding, ding, ding.
That is, for the record, I eat a lot of salad for my health, I guess, but certainly not my favorite food. The little circle things that he eats.
I think they're talking about the flautas.
The flauta? I don't eat the flautas, the circle.
Oh, man, I don't know.
I'm trying to think of what he's talking about.
This is what your kids think about, man.
I don't know.
Because, I mean, salad didn't surprise me, but I have no idea what he's talking about there. We asked your kids, what does daddy do for his job? Who said that your job is clean up toys?
Eliza. I've guessed Eliza for all of them. I'm not sure.
Eliza definitely said this
Okay.
one. I thought that was the funniest thing.
Yeah, no, that's their job. And their performance review went really, really poorly this year. So.
Your boys both knew that you work for the church, but in Eliza's mind, your job is to clean up toys.
Yeah, apparently. So whenever Easton was little, he was driving, he had like a little toy car, and he was driving around, and I said, what are you doing, buddy? He said, I'm driving to work. And I said, where do you work? And he said, the church. And that should probably hit your heartstrings, but I was like, son, get a reasonable job that pays more. No.
That's funny. Last question we had on here. What makes you proud of daddy? Which one of your kids said, daddy can do fires?
Everett.
That was right. Everett
Kid
said
loves
daddy
s'mores.
can do fire.
So.
Honorable mention, man. It was really cool. Easton said that the things that you do here at the church are what make him proud of you. So I thought that was really
awesome,
cool, man. But hey, dude, thanks for being here. Thanks for all that you
Absolutely.
do. The stuff you do here for our church is important. Those teams that you oversee, a huge part of the experience that people have here at Cross City. And so, man, thanks for being here. Thanks for being my friend.
Yeah.
Thank you all
Love doing
for
it.
tuning in, for listening. Again, if you don't already, we have a YouTube channel. Love for you to subscribe to that. Leave a like on this video. We actually are on iTunes as well. And so we'll have links for all that stuff if you want to subscribe to that. That way you don't have to watch these videos. You can just listen to the audio, whatever that is. If you're a podcast person, definitely encourage you to go do that. But thank y'all so much. We'll be back, I guess, next week. We still haven't come up with the sign-off. And so we got to figure something out soon.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Stay classy, San Diego. See you guys next week.